Route 66, Route 66. We'll drive around the classic cars, pick up chicks and biker bars. It doesn't matter where we are, as long as we're on Route 66, Route 66.
Get your motor running, head out on the highway. I'm looking for adventure, and whatever comes my way. Born to be wild, born to be wild. Hey, I'm Insane Sam Allen, and I'm in full biker regalia today because this is the 8th day of your 10-day Route 66 party tour, and I'm going to take you on my favorite motorcycle ride in the country. You're going to go from Williams, Arizona, over the Oatman Highway and on to Barstow, California. As always, before we get going, let's be sure you got good directions so you don't get lost. Go to Route66MC.com, go to the right-hand column on the home screen and find Get Directions. Put Williams in the Leaving From box and Barstow in the Heading To box. Click Get Directions and turn-by-turn directions between those two towns are going to pop up. Okay, let's get riding. When you leave Williams, you're going to get back on I-40 and get off at Ash Fork. Ash Fork is known for selling flagstone. There's some good vintage motels there with cool signs like the 1928 Copper State Motor Court. But all the motels in Ash Fork, including the Copper Court, are either closed or in questionable repair. If you're going west, you're going to come across the Desoto Hair Salon, which has a big Desoto car on the roof. Somehow a Desoto is cooler than, say, a Buick. If you're going east, you're going to find the Oasis Lounge, which is the only bar in town. It's small and the crowd is totally local, but it's a pretty friendly place. When you leave Ash Fork, get back on I-40 and take the Truxton Road exit, then go right. This is the start of over 165 miles of original Route 66. Almost all of it's out of sight of I-40, and by the end of the ride, you're going to be on the California border. The first town you're going to hit is Seligman. The Snowcap Drive-In is one of the most sought-out roadside burger joints and photo ops on Route 66. It's been known for decades as a place where the owners play practical jokes on their customers. They always have a bunch of car shows and stuff like that there too. Down the street, you're going to find the world-famous Black Cat Bar. Things get pretty lively in there on the weekends. The Rusty Bolt is 3 stores in one. The first 2 have Route 66 gifts and memorabilia, and the third has biker accessories like leather jackets, boots, and stuff like that. As you go through town, you're going to approach I-40 and find the Roadkill Cafe, which is a very popular stop-off. The locals all say that Lelo's across the street has the best food in town. On the 35-mile ride from Seligman to Peach Springs, you're going to pass the Grand Canyon Caverns. I've stopped to look around a few times, so I've never toured the canyons. Peach Springs is a village of only 600, and it's the headquarters of the Wallapai people. Wallapai means people of the tall pine. In the 1800s, Peach Springs had a railroad water station, 10 saloons, but no churches and no schools. It later had a roadhouse and a stagecoach line. Truxton was founded in 1951 to accommodate Route 66 travelers. Almost everything's gone now except the old Frontier Lounge and the Frontier Motel across the street, and they're all closed up. A small scene from Easy Rider, where Peter Fonda fixes a flat tire, was filmed in Valentine. Other than that, there's not much left of Valentine except an office of the Department of the Interior, and there's also a newly restored gas station. The next town is Hackberry. The road follows the train tracks so closely that you can really feel the trains rumble as they chug by. The Hackberry Store is a must-stop spot. It was opened in 1934 as the Northside Grocery and Conoco station. It closed in 1978 after I-40 bypassed the town, but in 1992, Route 66 artist Bob Waldmeyer bought it and opened the Hackberry Store as a tourist center and souvenir shop. Waldmeyer sold it to the current owners in 1998. There's a 1960s Corvette out front, plus a bunch of other vintage cars, trucks, signs, gas pumps, vending machines, and a bunch of other cool stuff. The guys are going to love the photos in the men's room. I've never been in the ladies' room, so I can't vouch for that. A few miles past the Hackberry Store, you're going to pass the Cozy Corner Trailer Park. Check out the totem there, which they call the Giganticus Heticus. On the 25 mile to Kingman, stop by the Outpost Saloon. They're a bunch of old guns, chaps, saddles, and they have a glass bar with Western antiques on display underneath it. Kingman was the home of character actor Andy Devine. He's the corpulent guy with the froggy voice that played the stage driver in Stagecoach, and he was the sheriff in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Kingman's Route 66 is called Andy Devine Boulevard, and there are a bunch of Route 66 motels along the way. Andy Devine's father bought the now closed Beale Hotel in 1906, and Andy grew up in there. In 1923, the rates ranged from $1.50 to $4 a night. The Dam Bar Steakhouse has a good bar, good food, and waitresses who are hot, hot, hot. Mr. D's Diner offers good food in a 1950s atmosphere. It's on the borderline between a restaurant and a drive-in. After leaving Kingman, you're going to get to ride the Oatman Highway. This is a dangerous ride, but if you know what you're doing, this is the best motorcycle ride in the country. When the speed limit signs say 10 miles an hour, you'd be very wise to pay attention. Cool Springs is the first settlement on the Oatman Highway. It was built in the 1920s. After Cool Springs was bypassed, it held on for a while, but it burned to the ground in the mid-60s. Today there's a small store, gift shop, and museum that's built on the stone remnants of the burned out structure. In 1991, it was used as a set that got blown up in the Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme movie Universal Soldier. Ed's Camp was founded in the 1920s by Ed Edgerton, who set up the Cactus Cafe, a gas station, some campgrounds, and some other facilities to serve local miners. It looks like it's been abandoned for years. Gold Road was founded in 1902. Over $7 million of gold was mined between 1903 and 1931. Oatman is an old mining town, and the descendants of the miners' mules wander the streets looking for handouts from tourists. They'll stick their head right in your car. The Oatman Hotel is where Clark Gable and Carole Lombard went when they eloped. You can't stay in the hotel anymore, but you can go upstairs and see their room. The first time I visited Oatman, I stopped at the bar at the Oatman Hotel, which turned out to be the only air-conditioned place for many miles around. I watched Payne Stewart win golf's US Open on their TV. A couple of months later, Payne was killed in a private jet on his way to play the Tour Championship at Champions Golf Club in Houston, Texas, where I was a member. The next town after Oatman is Golden Shores. There are a few restaurants and bars in there, but I've never stopped in any of them. Topock is at the end of the Oatman Highway and is the last town before you hit California. It has the old Arch Trails Bridge, which crosses the Colorado River into California. It was featured in the opening credits of Easy Rider and was also featured in the movie The Grapes of Wrath. Okay, this is the end of the first leg of the 8th day of your 10-day Route 66 ride. From here we'll go on to California and stop for the day in Barstow. But before going to the next video, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button so you can get notices of when I post new videos and other information you might otherwise miss. Also, leave your comments on this video and I'll do my best to respond to all of them. Insane Sam out.